A former seminary school has been preserved to the state it was in a century ago. It seems as though everyone's noticed the changes, including those who are no longer living. Is it haunted or not? Come with us and see for yourself. Welcome to Haunt Me. Tonight, Haunt Me travels to a special place in Maine history, the Parsonsfield Seminary. This former school once served as a stop on the Underground Railroad network. Though the campus is no longer in service as a school, its long span as an academic institution and current incarnation as a preserved historical site help keep the energy inside flowing. Hi, Grace. It's so great to meet you. I'm Ashley. This is my...
And I'm Ty. Thank you for showing us around tonight.
Carol. Nice to meet you. Katie.
Katie, glad to meet you.
So tonight we're going to go into two different buildings, right?
We are, yes.
Okay, where are we now?
We are at the Academy building.
Awesome.
And this is where they had their school. It opened in 1832.
It was the first Free Will Baptist Seminary in the United States. My name is Jan Smith. I'm the president of the Friends of Parsonsfield Seminary.
My name is June Furland, and I'm on the board of directors of Parsonsfield Seminary.
We're caretakers of the building and work at restoring it.
They were going to tear the buildings down and put a little brick schoolhouse here. So the Friends of Parson was formed at that time to keep that from happening.
But we have tried to preserve all the things in the school to make it as original and historic as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the place where they have the footlights, you can...
Oh my gosh.
And you can feel the jets.
Yeah.
Okay?
So they'd light the stage with these
they
lights?
light the stage with these lights.
I met Grace back in 1999, and she took me through the building, and there was one particular part of the building I could just feel the hair on my arms raise, and I said, "Do anything funny happen around here?" And she kind of looked at me and she said, "Like what?"
So this first part of the building is the boys' side.
Okay.
There's about 42 rooms in there, and there's also sometimes teachers lived here.
There are 4 buildings that are left on campus. The Academy building, Doe Hall, which is the dormitory that we're in now, the mechanical building, formerly the gasification plant, because the buildings were electrified by gas. I believe it was September of 1854, just before it opened, the Academy building burned to the ground.
And this is where you'd come in if you were visiting for any reason, and if you wanted to see the principal, you had to go to this room. Mm-hmm. And if you wanted to have guests, and remember, no people could go to the rooms, so you had to visit with them in here.
Huh.
The difference in the energy is very interesting when you come in. I'm fine on the first floor, but in both buildings, the higher in elevation you go, the more uncomfortable it becomes.
We've done, some of these rooms are done over quite nicely. Others, we're hoping someone will adopt. This room's been adopted. When they adopt a room, they get to pick the color, but they don't pick the tone.
Immediately walking in, I got a really bad headache, and I continue to have the headache. Every time I go outside, it goes away, and when I go into the other building where the school was, it goes away. It is just here in the dorms that I have the headache.
Now this is the boys' side.
Okay.
You couldn't even go into a boy's room if you were a female. Right? And there was a petition here. We got tired of walking up 2 flights of stairs and along the hall and back up another flight of stairs, and we got a hole. Okay? But we were way behind the times. Because those boys, those naughty boys, cut a hole.
I was working on polyurethaning a floor. And it was my first experience. That was a little unnerving. I heard voices, children's voices, talking and laughing, and I looked down the hall, I looked out the window, and I'm painting the floor, and you can't stop with polyurethane when you're in the midst of it. It was either run or finish the floor. And if I ran, I was gonna have to sand the floor. So I started talking to whatever entity it was, said, "I hope you're happy to see what we're doing to this building, and we're trying to make it nice for you."
Hope you enjoyed the trip.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It was great meeting you. Awesome.
We're a non-profit organization, so anybody's donations are tax deductible.
We're always looking for help, volunteers.
We have an event almost every month.
ParsonsfieldSeminary.org, and we list all our events.
There's lots of stuff going on here.
I started feeling really sad as soon as I entered Doe Hall. My eyes were just welling up with tears the whole time I was in there. A couple times I lost my balance. I felt like I was gonna fall over. I felt a little bit like a spirit was trying to attach itself to me, like it desperately wanted to get out of the building. But at the same time, I also felt a really dark presence that was trying to interfere with
I've
this.
never felt something quite like that. I mean, I've definitely felt like emotions in buildings before, but as soon as I walked in, it was like whatever it was trying to like hitch a ride with me, is basically how I would put it. And it felt like it was trying to fuse with my energy. And like I felt like I was getting emotions that weren't even mine. I was like desperate to get out of there. Like the whole feeling that I had the entire time was like, you need to get out of here. You want to like be safe.
Immediately after Ash walked in, I knew something was wrong. You just see it in her eyes, and whatever is here reacts specifically with her in a negative way.
It's weird because that building, the academy building, was completely fine. And when I'm outside, I'm fine. It's just when I go into Doe Hall, there's just something really bad in there, at least for my energy.
Right after we went up to the 3rd floor, Ash is like, it feels so much better up here. And I was like, yeah, it does. And then she almost falls over. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to help her as much as I wanted to. I wasn't able to give her the confidence boost she needed because I didn't have any of the information of what went on in this place.
I don't want to go back in there. I want to go in there, but
That's full of stuff. They're both chocolate block full of spirit.
but something in there specifically seemed like angry to me, and I don't know. It's weird.
Well, you also have a Free Will Baptist overhang. This was a Free Will Baptist seminary. They're very old-fashioned and they're very strict. They're very strict in their belief system. Some of this stuff offends them.
My name is Chris Boucher. I'm a local electrician in this area, and I did electrical work for Parsonsfield Seminary. I have seen negative and hostile things here. There's a gentleman that I've heard from many different mediums that is on the 3rd floor, girls' side primarily, and he used to like to approach teenage girls that would be on that side in the dormitory for sex. When she told me, she looks fairly young, and when she told me what she had felt, the first thing I thought of was that one spirit, because he's a pretty overpowering spirit.
If there were a couple dark spirits here that were abusing children, the fear I was feeling might be from the child and the anger was from the attacker.
Now that I know what's going on in here, we're going to do a chakra alignment and we're going to do a white light surrounding our bodies and kind of like ground ourselves.
And it's really good to just know that you have your shield up. I think everyone on the team does it in their own way, but doing it communally and knowing that there is that support on your team and you guys are all in it together is really important.
We try not to put each other in harm's way. If we know there's going to be an issue, we try to avoid it. That means if somebody has to stay outside, they have to stay outside in the car. I don't care. We don't want anybody hurt.
Parsonsfield Seminary presents us with an incredible mix of haunting and history. Already tonight, Ash was stricken with an unknown force as soon as she walked into the building and had to leave to make sure that she'd be okay. While setting up cameras, people have heard noises, have not felt comfortable being alone. Combining both of these buildings together, we've decided to pre-rate the entire campus as a whole. Looking back through everything that has happened to us already tonight, and matching those with the claims that we've heard from the multitudes of people who have come through, we decided to pre-rate the Parsonsfield Seminary as a 6.
I just want to say before we go in that our intention is, just to get some evidence. We don't want to really stir up these things, at least I personally don't. I want to go in and be respectful, and I hope that maybe that respect will be reciprocated, and I'm just going to go in and not let them mess with me. That's my intention for tonight. We're going to split into 2 teams. Ty and I will be on one team. I think having Ty along will be helpful because he picked up on what was happening to me before, and Katie and Carol are going to be on the other team. I know that Katie has a whole plan to do tarot and to set up a safe spot in the parlor.
Before we start, Jan told me where to find the footprints.
Great.
And I have a really old school ghost hunting idea of how to maybe recreate it for us.
About 2.5 years ago, we were doing the floors, and we came back in a couple of days later to check the floor and noticed that there were some little footprints down there. The footprints start, they stop, and there's no way that you could get to where the footprints footprints are unless you left footprints all over the floor.
So I'm fascinated with those footprints because I love evidence that I can't understand or debunk. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna try to replicate it. So what I've got is a trash bag for easy cleanup and then some cornstarch. I'm hoping that whatever we do might scare something down the stairs tonight. So I'm putting a trash bag down with cornstarch all over it. So hopefully if something steps in the powder, we'll be able to get it tonight.
God, it'll be me that steps in it, I know it.
So have fun in Doe Hall, you guys.
Yes, we will.
Let's do this.
All right.
All right, good luck, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, so.
All right, I just want to light up my altar, and then we can go wherever.
All right.
There are claims that there are young children in this building and that there are these sort of malicious energies in this building. Some would say men. And so I wanted sort of to create a specifically safe space that the children could come and that we could kind of like, you know, just show them that we're here, we're on their side, and we want to make things better for them. So hello to anybody that's in this building. If you were here or paying attention earlier, my name is Katie, as you know.
I'm Carol.
We are here to learn about you and talk to you and possibly pass on any messages that you might have for family and friends that you don't get to talk to very much. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to light up an altar that I placed here. This altar is for nothing more than to negate negative energy, which is why I'm lighting this black candle here. Dispelling all negative energy in this room, making this room a safe place. Is there anybody here right now?
If you're here, you can let her know by going up to that green light on the table. You can touch it or get really close to it. It won't hurt you. It will just detect that you're near us, and it will change colors. We're not here to offend anybody or their belief system. I don't want to offend anybody because I am pretty open-minded. I do believe there's something bigger than us, but I'm not going to say it's this or that. But we are not trying to upset you. We're very curious. We want answers, I guess, to be honest, and we want to know what's out there. So that's our intent. We're not here to upset anybody.
Second floor. In the Academy building, it is very, very creepy as soon as you ascend above the stage. There is a storage attic. It's like my nightmare. It's lined on both sides with costumes and props and just gizmos and gadgets. So you literally have to walk through it like this with your hands up just in case something might jump out from either side. I've watched a lot of horror movies and that's where they get you. I am not thrilled with the costumes.
Oh, cool coats.
Hello? I want to be the dinosaur.
Oh yeah.
Is there anybody up here? There's not a general calm feeling of this area.
Going up to the second floor.
So I know this house echoes pretty well, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say that my name is Katie.
I'm Carol. Oof, got heavy.
Yep, I have a really bad headache again. Is that you giving me a headache? Why would you do that to me? The second floor that I'm on right now is really hard for me to breathe here. It's really odd, but I still feel completely confident in my skills as a ghost hunter, and I feel completely confident in my skills as just a spiritual person, and I know I'm stronger than the spirits here. I love to try and get you out of this house. Maybe it's not very nice to be stuck here all the time. And maybe I can help you leave?
What do you think about leaving the house? Does it bother you? Can you make a knock sound like this? Can you knock back to me up here?
Is that a door opening?
What is that noise?
Sounds like a creaking, right?
I couldn't tell if it was a breath or a door swinging slightly. It was happening too often to be the building settling, but we also couldn't find out where it was coming from, what was moving, what was happening.
Anything you believe in is really important. Your belief system is your own, and it's what you can connect with.
Having the knowledge or belief that something is going to look out for you can make all the difference.
Coming in here with people who are very, very strict in their belief of good and evil, there's no gray area, and doing a tarot reading or having Katie, bless a room with crystals, maybe even us just having a ghost hunt here would seem possibly satanic to them.
Two trump cards that just came up.
Really?
Two male trump cards. Are there two men in this building that need to talk to us about virtue? Are there two men in this building that need to have a moral conversation with us? Need to have a spiritual conversation with us about how to worship or about how to live our lives? Because if there are those two men in this building, I'd like to talk to you. Because I feel a lot differently than you do. And I think that we could have just a very easy chat about why I feel one way and you feel a different way. But you're gonna have to come around here and talk to me. Maybe we should get Ashley. Maybe we do a group thing up here right now.
Yeah.
Going up these stairs is sketchy. Just don't step in the thing.
Yeah, the white stuff. Is that your altar, Katie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Has not been touched. We're all going to walk around it.
The Moldavite smells so good.
Yeah.
I really like that smell.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, whoever was here earlier really freaked a lot of us out. Now we're here to talk to you. So it's a two-way street. I think that it would only be fair if you came out to talk to us while we're sitting here all around. The way to do that is to either talk into any of the red lights that you see, and we'll hear you later, because we can't hear you right now, or touch any of the green lights that you happen to see.
All right, so I'm gonna turn on this device. It's called an ovilus, and you can manipulate the energy inside of it to access these words. Okay. Is that something on the steps?
What about that? What those like the bumps you guys are hearing?
Was that anybody?
Okay. I'm gonna bust out my cards again. For anybody that's been around us for the past few minutes, you know that I brought some cards with me.
What was that?
Who was that?
It just said tense on here.
Something huge just happened downstairs. If there's anyone downstairs, just feel free to come up.
Must be the wind, huh?
If there's anyone down the hall, feel free to come over. You can walk right through us, like right next to us, I mean. We gave you some space.
There's two options on the ovilus.
What was that? What was that?
Yeah, you had
That was huge.
Yeah, that was a grumble.
Well, if that was you, come on through.
Come on
Sorry
over,
if you
Katie,
just like
shuffle.
hurt yourself bumping into
Poor
something.
Ash, you're trying to tell us and then noises keep happening.
It's okay.
When we were up in the girls' dorm, there was like a low rumbling. It wasn't like a straight up growl, but it was a rumbling that kind of shook like a thundery type noise, and we couldn't tell where that came from.
So what we've done now is the girls are all over on the girls' portion of the dorm. I am here on the males' portion, and I am going to try to connect with any of the guys that are still over here. Maybe having the genders over swapping the assigned areas was causing an issue. I don't know. So we're just trying to try new tactics.
What was your favorite thing to study? Can you tell Ashley?
What's your favorite school subject? Girl.
It said girl.
That's interesting.
Are you a teacher? So your favorite subject is girls. Are you a teacher here?
Or are you a little boy that likes girls?
Are you excited that all the girls are left here? We decided to kind of go, go with the theme. This is the girls' side of the building, so I thought maybe we'd keep the girls here. The obelisk is a tricky machine because at times it says things that can be completely relevant. It was calling out when there was just ladies in the room. It talked about the smell, which I was burning the Moldavite incense. And so there are words that come up and you think, well, yeah, that makes sense. We can talk about that. But then all of a sudden it will say apple. And you're like, is this even working?
I know that we're not alone, but it's just...
Did it just get slightly darker?
Yeah, it did, but it could be the camera because that kept happening to me all night. Oh my God. I totally just looked up and saw something kneeling behind Ash.
Yeah, I felt it. That's
my
why I'm
God.
coming over here, guys. I'm sorry, I just can't.
No, it's okay.
It just got really dark over it there.
Just I looked up and it was there. It was like reaching to touch your hair.
No, I know, I felt it.
Oh my
it cast a
God.
shadow over me. That's why I said it got really dark. Okay, you can't touch me. I'm sorry, but that's not allowed.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really care if it offends you. You're not allowed to touch me.
It was very dark over me. It didn't necessarily have a scary feeling attached to it, but just knowing that there was all that darkness around me, I kind of became aware of the fact that I was sitting so far away from Carol and Katie. So maybe there was a part of me that picked up on a spirit, or maybe it was just all coincidence. It's very hard to say.
Now up on the 3rd floor, we captured this strange visual evidence. I'm not sure what to make of it. You can clearly see something. It is a blinking orb moving across the camera. Now that's weird. What I want to say, because I'm skeptical, is that it's a bug, a firefly or something like that, that's reflecting in the camera. But the intervals are very even and strange. This is the gray area that I'm always talking about. So we just want to present it to you guys so that you can make up your own minds about what this might be.
When we came down after the first break, I went to light the white candle because it takes about an hour to burn, and I wanted to get it started. So I've come in here to light the white candle. The white candle is really important because it brings in positive energy. The black candle was burnt out, which I had anticipated. However, the candle holder that it was in was completely split in half. I thought it was kind of interesting because that particular candle holder that I have has a pentagram on it. The other 2 candle holders that I was using, one for the incense and the other for the white candle, were fine. And the candles are tiny, they're small and thin, so there would be no way that they would burn and crack open a candle holder. So I thought that was kind of weird.
This place is beautiful and very frustrating because I feel as though whether you're psychic or not, if you walk in here, you feel the presence of something. Maybe it's just the history of the place and people just can feel how much history is there. I don't know.
Most of the activity happened during the day. Like Ash got wrecked earlier. What was happening earlier, I cannot believe how little happened tonight.
Yeah,
Like,
I
based
know.
on that.
I know. I came in so headstrong, and it was just like there was enough outside evidence, enough past evidence, and enough personal experiences this afternoon that would warrant to come back and try again during the day to see if this is in fact a residual haunt that is kind of going by school hours.
There are two primary types of haunts. One is residual. In that case, the spirits aren't aware that people are interacting with them. Usually they're stuck on a loop doing the things that they did in their life without even realizing that they're dead or realizing that anybody is trying to contact them. The other is an intelligent haunt in which the entities can interact with us through K2, EVPs, a number of other scientific or metaphysical techniques.
I cleaned up the low-tech ghost hunter cornstarch pad. No footprints.
No footprints.
I mean, I think that would have been amazing if we did. But
Yeah.
I'd say let's review our evidence and see what we got. I mean, we might get something on EVPs. We're kind of in a limbo space. Coming back during the day would be an interesting tactic that we kind of all talked about because this is a school. We're in a dormitory right now where people probably had strict curfews and were forced to go to bed.
Overall, this was a little bit of a confusing haunt for me. When I first showed up, I was taken down by whatever was here, and then later in the night, I was able to walk throughout this building without feeling scared at all. I've never had such a drastic divide during an investigation, so this place definitely intrigues me.
Parsonsfield was tricky, but I like tricky because it creates a challenge. When we were there, we decided to rate the evidence we were presented with very high because of the amount of stories we heard from various people who were there, the physical evidence that we were presented with, as well as the incident Ash had with something that was a little unkind. Now, Katie also had an experience too. Her candle holder broke down the center of the pentagram that was on the base of it. We were in a building that was primarily used for very religious stuff historically. So while that could be a huge coincidence, it could also denote the presence of an intelligent spirit. And this is why it's tricky, because a lot of paranormal investigation takes place in that gray area. So we can't really make a definitive choice, but we want to present you guys the evidence that we get so you can make up your own mind. Wrapping all of this in with our personal experiences that we had during the day at the seminary before we started filming, we're going to give our investigation score of Parsonsfield Seminary a 4. Averaging that with our pre-rate score, the final rating for Parsonsfield Seminary would be a 5, an obstreperous level haunt. However, I would like to return to it during the day to see what ghosts we could scare up before they go to bed.